when we were looking at the productivity quadrants, which compare activity score to objective score, is that you can go in there and you can see, based on the quadrant and the position in the quadrant, who's performing and who's not. And let me actually pull it up just to give you a good idea on that. So in this case, without going into too much, without shaming too many people, so now this is just looking at the current month right now. But on here, you have the ability of showing outliers. And here you can actually see as people progress. So the further the right they are, the more they're doing during the day. And the higher up they are is the more they're getting out of it. So if somebody is further right, I don't want to click on it to show you who it is, but you could.
But basically, these are people that are they're getting after it. They're both very active, so they're working the higher funnel metrics, and that's leading to results. So that's why those two scores exist. These people right here are working the system, and it's working for them.
Yep.
So what happened with your rep that was there for 7-8 years? Did you pull this up and activity was down? What was the situation?
So in that case, it was much like this outlier over here, is that they were doing a lot of activity. They were doing a lot of calls, and they were sending a lot of emails, sending a lot of texts, but they weren't getting much out of it. The objective was down. And I had told the sales manager at the time that the quadrant is a great tool, because it's anything that's an outlier is a red flag. And anything has an explanation on there. And if you have somebody like he did, where it's somebody that was doing a lot of work but not getting a lot out of it, it's saying, right, well, whatever they're doing in their approach may not be optimal. Maybe you should listen to some of the call recordings that we have for them, or maybe you should take a look at some of the emails they were sending out. And what it ended up being was that rep was sending out a lot of mass mail. And because they were sending out a lot of mass mail, it was augmenting their score, and that they were getting a high amount of points because they were sending so many emails that it was kind of offsetting their objective score.
Not personalized.
Yeah, not because it was not personalized. They're not getting a lot of read rates. They weren't getting a lot of feedback from it. When they were making calls, some of the calls were not optimal. Some of the things they were saying, they weren't, in a positive spin to things. So there are a lot of changes to maybe made. But if he was in the middle of the pack, he wouldn't have, it wouldn't have popped out as obviously. But
right.
A tool like this really shines lights on those individuals, and it allows the sales manager, instead of having to, equally, give his focus to, a team of 100 people, he can pick out the people that really need him and work on them first to try to get them back on track and get them back to moving. And a tool like this is great.